Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Greg Bassett, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. It's a big day here at PAC 14. We've got my new friend in the house, Seth Hershberger. Welcome, Seth.
Greg, thank you. It's good to be here.
So you're new to town. Tell us what you do here in Salisbury.
I am the new director of Wicomico Public Libraries.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And you've been in, has it been a year yet?
It's been about 7 months.
7 months?
Yeah.
So how's it going?
It's going really well. Getting settled here, moved here with my family, live here in Salisbury now, and really happy to be part of the community. And getting settled into the job too. There's a lot of good work that went in to getting the library established. We've got some great staff, and I'm really excited about the future.
We've got a great little library, and we forget that sometimes. So tell me what you're going to do to make the library even more important to all of us.
Well, the library, my vision for it is that it would be like a community center and something that just adds value to anybody that lives here in any part of the county, that it improves the quality of life for the residents of Wicomico County, both in Salisbury and in the other areas of the county. And I think that's going to be a focus for me and the board, is that we ensure that all parts of the county and all communities of Salisbury are benefiting from library services.
And so it's not just a place to have books anymore. There's so much more that goes on there.
Right. I think people that visit libraries often know that libraries have evolved. When you talk to people that are less familiar with libraries or whose experience of libraries was when they were a child, you get questions like, well, are libraries still relevant? I mean, they got a lot of books. Do people still read books? These kinds of questions. And libraries are still in the book business. I mean, and that's still a core of what we do, and there are a lot of people that read books. I mean, our circulation stats account for that. But libraries are now also evolved to provide for the ways that people are consuming media. We have a lot of streaming digital content that people can use for free, as opposed to paying for those expensive services online. They can download digital audiobooks, they can download the ebooks, they can do all that without coming into the library. They just need a library card. So that's just one example, but beyond that, libraries are an important institution and respected for the fact that they bring people together. They're a place where people can meet on neutral, common ground, and we can talk about what we have in common, and we can share ideas together. And that's something that public libraries can facilitate really better than any other institution.
That's true, and that's so cool because it is a place where people come together, and I'm invigorated when I'm in a library. Certainly with COVID and the modern office setting, and being a reporter guy, I'm mobile a lot, so I'll camp in a library for a day and do my work. Right. And I love the Worcester County Library System because they've got a bunch of different branches, and the branches have their own personality. So the Ocean City branch is very different from Ocean Pines, very different from Berlin, and my mood dictates which one of those libraries I will go to. Same with the downtown library. Yeah. I will go to the Salisbury Library just to be invigorated by having those people around and see what's going on and connect with the community through the library.
Right, and I think the personality of the Sarbanes Branch, even since I've been here, the county designated our flagship branch here in Salisbury, the Paul S. Sarbanes Branch, in honor of the late senator, and we've done some things to honor him. And if you visit the branch, you'll see there in the lobby that we have a new plaque explaining his connection to the community and the library's connection to the Sarbanes family, which is really something that we're proud of. The personality of, it's interesting when you talk about the personality of the branch. When you go into that branch, it's an extremely friendly place. Like the staff there are, you get some of the best customer service anywhere you get in town. That said, there's not a lot of comfortable places to just hang out there.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're working on right now. This year and into next year, we're going to invest some of our gift and memorial funds into creating spaces within the branch, lounges, reading areas, more tables where people can just sit and be comfortable.
That's a great idea.
And do work. And also areas for like teens where they have more of their own space that they can be proud of and can belong to them. Doing some things like that, just with rearranging where things are and adding new furniture to make it a more inviting, comfortable space for people to spend a lot of time. Because for a lot of people, it's kind of a home away from home. And that's the way we want them to feel about it.
Yeah, in the old days, the library, the kids were downstairs, the adults were upstairs. And I remember going downstairs forever, and Mrs. White, who was head of the, I don't remember her first name, Mrs. White was head of the kids' library. And I finally got to I was like 13, and she was like, you're too old to be down here now. You need to go up to the adult part of the library. But that was my little nest down there in the kids part of the library. That's where I loved to be and to read.
That's great that you had that as part of your childhood. And I think for a lot of families, they're library families, and it's a regular stop, just like going to the grocery store for them. And we're so happy to have them, and we want more people to know how much value it can add to their life for the library to be part of their regular routine. Spend time together as a family in a place that's nurturing and that your children can explore and really be themselves.
No, I haven't been in a while, but for the last time I was in there, I was working around the microfilms to do my Today in History column, and you could see people were in there doing business, resume, job searching. There was a little area with some job counseling. Does that still go on, or what's going on with the pandemic?
We still have the Job Search Center, and that is, somebody can come in there and look for a job, and there's somebody there to help them, to support them with that, because for a lot of people, especially those that may have less experience with job searching in the last several years where it's all online now, they may need some help figuring out how to find the jobs that are available and also submitting their application online and so forth. So we have somebody in there whose job it is to help anybody who comes in and needs help with that. It's a designated area of the library where they can go and have some privacy, the Job Search Center. And that's another part of the project we have for when we're expanding and renovating the Sarbanes Branch this year and next, to really look at that space and how we're using it. We're going to add passport services. We already have that at the Center Branch. Excellent. Which is located in the mall, but we're going to add that at Sarbanes as well as part of that job search area, which is going to be more broadly kind of a business center, resources for people that are looking to start a business or that want to learn how to invest, or just ideas for entrepreneurship, and also the job search component. And we'll add space there so people can go in and keep their appointments for renewing their passport or getting a new passport. Yeah, there was a business center aspect to it. That's still alive there? It's not still alive. So I'm going to bring that back to life there and create a special space for it so that it's not just job search, that there's more resources connected to the business community. I'd really like the library system in particular to be more connected and more supportive of the businesses, small businesses especially in Salisbury, and the nonprofits that are doing great work. There's a lot of energy around downtown Salisbury, and we're located there, and I'm really glad that we are, because I want to be part of what's going on downtown, bringing the business community in downtown Salisbury together and supporting them and helping them attract customers as part of our library services too. So we're in talks with the city about a vision for that, so that we partner with what's going on in downtown Salisbury. It's interesting. In Worcester, they've got the 5 branches. Wicomico really just has the 3, the downtown, at the mall, like you said, and in Pittsville. And the communities are just a little bit different. In Worcester, the towns are big enough, I think, to sustain a library in each location, Wicomico, Snow Hill, Ocean City, Ocean Pines, Berlin. But Wicomico is not the same way, but you're working, there's always been this dream of having a nice library that could be shared by Pittsville and Willers. Right. And we have, we'll talk about Pittsville, Willers, and Parsonsburg area. But I want to mention that we have a 4th branch that people kind of forget. The Bookmobile. People forget about it. It's, mobile services. Yes, which is an excellent thing, yes. And we do have the Bookmobile, and we are gearing up to really expand our mobile services right away. We're replacing the Bookmobile with a new vehicle. And we're also adding we call it the Mobile Learning Lab, basically a technology center on wheels. So it's a second bookmobile, but focused on technology, that will go around all parts of the county and partner with our partners to bring unique programming to all areas of the county. In addition to that, we have a reader van. That's part of our mobile services unit that does a lot of programs, sort of one-on-one, delivers books to places like community centers and daycares, and delivers books that people have ordered. And we're rolling out a new service as part of our mobile unit. We have already secured the funding, in part through the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, their fundraiser that they had for Giving Tuesday. We raised money to pilot kiosk services around Wicomico County, and we're putting two library vending machines, basically. They're almost like red box for libraries. Excellent. We're locating one at the Center Mall, basically outside the branch there, but it'll be available anytime the mall's open. And we're going to put one in Sharptown. We're talking to the city commission there about placing one at their town hall. And so Sharptown is pretty far from any library services. A good example of an area that they're really so far away from the nearest branch. But this way they'll have physical access to library services. They'll be able to place a hold right there on the screen and go back later and pick it up out of a locker that will open with their library card.
Yeah, I should have thought of the bookmobile because it's one of the great traditions of our county to have that bookmobile. And it's around and it's visible. And it used to come to my neighborhood in Quantico, and my kids would go up there and spend the afternoon in the bookmobile.
Right.
It was really cool.
Right. Right. And in excuse me, in Pittsville, we've requested capital funding from the county to identify and do feasibility studies and design work on a location somewhere in that area that we could relocate the branch. For anybody that's been to the Pittsville Library, it's in a trailer, it's very small, there's very limited parking. It's been inadequate for a very long time, and we've been in it for coming up on 20 years.
Yeah.
For a very long stretch, we've been in this trailer. And Pittsville and that area, they need a library. There's a population center there that we have a responsibility to serve. So that is the focus in the coming years of the capital improvement plan. Actually, next year and the year following, that we would accomplish that, get them out of that trailer.
Maybe we can get something significant in Pittsville that the population can use because they deserve it.
I'm new to Maryland library system, but it has a reputation for being kind of library heaven. And part of the reason for that is that the state of Maryland, in addition to providing a large appropriation for our library system and all the other county libraries in the state every year, they also have a capital fund of their own that we can submit applications to spend dollars out of Maryland's capital funds that are matched by Wicomico counties. And it's a very sort of attractive match because it's close to 90% that the state of Maryland will contribute this amount. Wicomico County only has to match it up to this certain level, based on a lot of things, including population and the wealth of the county. That is my predecessors, and I watched your interviews with them, and I watched several of your interviews with the community when I was researching for the position and for relocating here. That is undoubtedly...
And you still came.
Exactly, yeah. But that's probably what she had in mind, is
Yeah.
that we would get some state capital funding. And that's the key. If we do something like that for new construction
Right.
or for renovating an existing building that would be owned by the county or a city or us as the library, we qualify for the capital funding from the state.
Who are you? Where'd you come from? How did you end up getting involved in libraries? I mean, I have my own personal connection with libraries, why I love them so much, but how did Seth Hershberger end up in the library
I grew up in libraries the same as you. My parents always took me to the library every week. I'm from kind of Missouri, Oklahoma area, and worked in libraries all my career, from when I had a study job at college. And I worked as assistant director for a library in Kansas City, Missouri for several years.
What a great town.
And yeah, and then spent some time overseas and landed kind of in the DC area and was looking for a job in the Maryland area. And that's how my family and I ended up here. It's like kind of a perfect fit because this is really similar. I always lived kind of around big towns, small cities, and this is a really nice fit. We love it out here on the Eastern Shore. I'd always known about the Eastern Shore because I always read a lot and had read a lot of books about here, including James Michener's classic, The Chesapeake. And of course I read every book I could get my hands on about the Eastern Shore when I knew we were going to be relocating out here. And the lore of the place, the beauty of the place, the riverways and the Chesapeake and so forth. We're really happy to be here and to connect with the community, the tradition here, the fishing industry, and all the beautiful things about the people here. I'm really curious and interested in, and I'd like to, my role as director, I'm really interested in, as an outsider, kind of exploring that in a public way so I'm learning about the community and showing what people can be proud about for their own community.
As you go into the budget season, what are you looking to try to achieve this year?
From the county council members that I've gotten acquainted with, and from the folks over at the county when we talk about this, we are getting into the budget process, and we're also going through the capital request process with them, and it's been very positive. We've not gotten anywhere yet, but we're asking for about a 3% increase in our funding. You probably know the history because you've talked to my predecessors, but our funding was dramatically cut back around 2008.
Right.
And we're still kind of digging out of the hole from that. We're not back to where we were in 2008, which is really remarkable. And we're one of the, in the entire state of Maryland, per capita, we're, I think, the second lowest funded library in the state compared to the other counties, both here on the Eastern Shore and other areas of Maryland. So we are, in terms of our county appropriation, an underfunded library system. And we're, it shows in terms of the number of branches we have. We have expanded hours of operation recently back to what we were pre-COVID.
The Sunday hours are really important.
They're busy. We get a lot of folks that come in on Sunday. It's just a convenient time for for a lot of people, families, and so forth.
Yeah, and that's rare in the library system to have Sunday hours anywhere.
Yeah, I think we're the only library on the Eastern Shore that does have Sunday hours. But it works. I'll tell you, it works here. We've got a lot of people that I can see appreciate it. Because when I go in there, I see a busy library on Sunday.
Right.
I'm really optimistic that the county will support the library moving forward. I feel like they've been supportive to date. And there's an understanding that the library is an important institution in the county. It's a county asset that they have to maintain and invest in. And I think we're clear on that, and I believe that they're going to support us in our requests, both for budget increases and for capital funding.
Are there any infrastructure changes coming to the Sarbanes Branch? Is there capital needs there?
For we put together a 5-year capital plan that covered all parts of the county and all locations of the branch of the library system, including our mobile services unit, are going to benefit from the capital funding that we receive over the next 5 years. In Sarbanes Branch, here downtown Salisbury, and I believe I'm going to be the director that really focuses on the current location, rather than trying to establish a new branch downtown or some other location in Salisbury, to really invest in what we have. We have a lot of square footage there, much of it that's not being very well used.
Right.
And it's a building that's been well maintained over the years, but also has just gotten dated and old and needs a lot of just upgrades here and there. And that's what the capital improvement plans that we put together call for, investing in the facility that we have downtown and making the best use of it. Making it appear better as well, outside and in, so that it's something that the city of downtown Salisbury can be proud of as an iconic part of their downtown. And also making it, as I mentioned earlier, a more comfortable space for people to come in and spend time.
Yeah, I thought when they named after Paul Sarbanes, I'd have to go searching somewhere for a plaque to see that Paul Sarbanes had some affiliation with the library. But gosh, his name is on there.
Yeah, that's right. We don't mess around.
I love it.
Yeah. We put it all the way around the building so you can see it from all sides.
Because we've never known what to call that library. We just say the main branch, the downtown branch, the Salisbury. But now it's the Sarbanes Branch. And
right.
It's got an identity now.
Yeah, it is really catching on too. That's what the patrons and the staff have just automatically started to call it, the Sarbanes Branch. Yeah. And it does clear up some confusion about what to call the downtown versus the center, which is also another sort of confusing aspect of what our branches are called. Because the center sounds like it might be the downtown branch as well.
And politics aside, Paul Sarbanes is from Salisbury. He's a really smart guy, and he's someone who was formed through our library system. There's no doubt about it.
That's right. That's right, and he's been supportive through the years, too. We have photos and newspaper records of him speaking at various events at the library, including at the dedication of a new children's area that was built some years ago.
So whenever you're new to a job and you come to town, I'm sure people fill your ear up with, the library needs this, and you need to do that, and you need this, and you need that. Mm-hmm. What are you hearing from people?
I love it when they do that, because it means they value the library services. And that's, sometimes I heard I'm not sure that this person supports libraries, but then when I meet with them, they're like, we need a branch here, or we need a branch there. They do value libraries. I think it's almost universal that people realize the library adds something important to the community. And realize that something was really lost during the time that the library was closed for so long because of COVID. It was one of the tragedies of the pandemic that library services were not available for and accessible to people that really depended on them the most. And the library has adapted in a lot of ways. We've rolled out a lot of services that we didn't have before that I think are going to be permanent, including hotspots that we circulate so people can have internet at their homes, curbside service, people love that, that's not going away. Where people can place holds and just pull up and pick it up without coming inside. we've done a lot of things to improve the access people have to the library without actually visiting the library. And although our circulation stats suffered, like people weren't checking out as much material because they couldn't come into the library, that's not true of our digital resources. The usage of those went through the roof and has stayed strong, even now as people are starting to come back to the library and it's getting busier again. So libraries have moved, and including us, have moved to a new place as a result of all that time. But we also want to build back to where we were before. We want people to come back to the library, those that sort of got out of the habit of coming. So that's something we're working on too, with just making sure people know we're there, what resources are available, and take advantage of what's available to them.
Yeah, and to get to downtown Branch, there's parking readily available. There's spots reserved in the garage, undercover with direct access to that building. There's no reason not to go down to the library.
Yeah, it's a really easy, accessible place to get. It's convenient. It's in the middle of, it's right in the middle of Salisbury. It's about 5 miles from just about anybody who would have a Salisbury address. There wouldn't be much further away than that. So that's a good goal for libraries, is to try to be within 5 miles of the people they're serving. So Fruitland is an area where there's a lot of growth, and I think when we do think about future branches, that's one area where it does seem like that community would benefit from having their own location. And I think there's sort of that separation between those communities where they feel like they'd like to have their own, because there's some pride about Fruitland. And in terms of providing better library services to the Salisbury area, that's certainly a goal that we have to serve that community better.
Unlike the newspaper business, libraries really embrace digital fast, and you're able to get things on your website so fast. There's so many resources that are available online from the library website. It's just incredible.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that sometimes people don't know, and that I try to get the message out. So thank you for the question. If you're paying all this money for Netflix and Disney Plus and all the rest, look at what we have. You might be able to save yourself quite a bit of money by looking at the library first to see what's available and stream it for free, because your tax dollars are paying for it instead of having to pay it out of pocket to these private companies. You might have access to some of the same programs through the library's website with your library card that you're paying top dollar for.
Yeah, and I remember one of the first time I saw something, a change in the library, the books on tape thing. If you had a long trip, you would go to the library first and get books on tape to listen to in the car on your trip. Right. And that was a whole nother extension of the library that I don't think anyone thought of.
Right. So if there again, if you're paying for an Audible membership, you may be paying more than you need to, because if you come to the library, you can download digital audiobooks right to your phone, and you've got what you need there without having paid for it. And it's as simple as checking out a book. You just go in there and place a hold on it or place a request and download it to your phone. What
is your website?
WicomicoLibraries.org.
Okay.
So yeah, go check it out and see what's available there, including our new expanded hours of operation. We're open more in the evening now. That's a change. All the locations are open Monday through Thursday until 7 o'clock in the evening. And we have Saturday hours in all locations, and at Sarbanes we're open for 4 hours on Sunday afternoon. So it should be pretty convenient to find a time that works for you.
Tell me a little about your volunteers.
We have a lot of great programs that are dependent on volunteers of the library. I'll start with Friends of the Library, and what a great organization that is. They raise funds, they sell, if you see the bookshop when you walk into the library, that's them. They have book sales throughout the year, they do other fundraising, and they support the library, and they're helping pay for some of the renovations we're doing at Sarbanes Branch. They donated $15,000 towards that so we can have a reading lounge area. And that's just money that they've raised from selling books and other projects. And it's a great group of people to be a part of. They work together really well, and they have fun together. We have a Project Reads program where an adult is connected. Adult learners are connected with somebody who tutors them in literacy skills. There's a lot of people that have literacy issues in our community, and we're trying to do something to help them. And that's partly funded by the United Way, and we've been doing that for several years now, and that's volunteer run as well. It's just people that volunteer their time, and it's amazing that we've got people like this in the community that really want to help and come in and spend time with somebody who wants to learn how to read.
That's great that you're involved with United Way with the Dolly Parton thing and getting books in kids' hands. It's just so essential. It really is.
Right. Yeah, anytime there's books being distributed and people that are having access to books that might not otherwise, we're very happy to support that.
Well, hopefully we're coming out of COVID until the next variant comes, I guess. Any events that you want to plug that you got coming up this year?
On COVID, let me just mention that we're lifting our mask mandate. We're anticipating lifting it on Monday next week. So that's a big benchmark for us, and we're really excited. And I hope that'll make people feel comfortable coming into the library, and that they didn't want to come in and have to wear a mask the whole time. I know that's been a hardship for people. So we're excited about taking that step. We've gone back to in-person programming. There's all kinds of children's programming that's going on. The traditional story time is back with kids sitting around somebody who's reading a story to them.
So great, yeah.
We can do that. We have the space, and it's really exciting to move forward. I think if you come, even if you're a little nervous about COVID still, if you come, you'll see that you'll feel okay doing this. We've got a lot of space, especially in the Sarbanes Branch, to do these types of programs, and you can get together with your community again and feel that connection. It's really wonderful to see. And yeah, we have some exciting programs coming up. There's just a regular slate of programs. I attended one myself on Saturday in which we had a special speaker who shared all this information about the history of Frederick Douglass in Wicomico County and how he had come and spent time here and spoke at our courthouse.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating to learn about the local history there and the things that we can be proud of as a community. We have programs like that coming up. That's something else that you can check out on our website and go look at the calendar of events that's coming up. Some of them are online still, but some of them are in person, so you can choose what you'd like to go to.
I hear you're going fine-free.
I'm glad you heard that. We're really excited that that's a change we're making, following a lot of the other libraries in Maryland and other parts of the country. We're not going to charge anything for people that return books late anymore. It's just not worth it to us, and honestly, those folks are our most loyal patrons that depend on us the most. And we don't want to hurt anybody's access to the library, certainly not children. We want them to be able to, even if they return a book late, we want them to be able to maintain access to the library. And it's some traditional revenue that libraries have had, but it's not significant enough that it's worth potentially harming people's access to the library.
How can people get a hold of you?
Well, I'm at the library. My office is here in Sarbanes, so certainly if you come in and ask to speak to Seth Hershberger, I'm there. I'll share my phone number as well. You can reach out to me that way directly. My email is Seth S. Hershberger, SHERSHBERGER @wicomico.org.
He's Seth Hershberger. He's the new library director here in Wicomico County. We're thrilled to have him. Welcome to town, and we can't wait to see the great things he's going to do with our library. Thanks so much for being here, Seth.
Thanks, Greg. It's good to be here. Thank you.
I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent newspaper, another edition of 101 right here on PAC 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and one-on-one. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.